Hello everyone, Attack Power here with another deck building video here in Steel Division 2 with 91st Luftlande. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, and consider checking out the membership here on YouTube. It really does help me out a lot, even if you just like and subscribe. Let's dive right in here to 91st Luftlande, one of the worst divisions in the game. Now, is this division straight up like unplayably bad? No. Is this division clunky AF? Yes. Is it hard to win into this division? It certainly can be. So, checking this out in a nutshell here. So, strengths, you do have good infantry. Fallschirmjägers, still really solid, especially now back at 35 points for the most part. You get some really good arty, and that's about where all the big pluses end. From there, it's just an odd grab bag of mid-tier, like, mediocre tabs that all kind of have some interesting tools, but never enough of the best stuff, and not enough variety to actually fill in all the gaps, and that's where this division suffers. You just don't have a lot of the right tools in the right places, and a little bit of phase locking really actually screws this division pretty hard overall. It's a division I want to like, because, I mean, I find it interesting and unique, but playing it is kind of a struggle boat. It really is. But diving in here to the Recon tab, we have a whole bunch of Fallschirmjäger choices here, but we also have a Fusilier. Fusilier's pretty darn good at 20 points. I mean, honestly, it's like a full rifle squad with Recon for 20 points. I mean, you pay 15 for an off-clouder, which is a two-man squad, and this is an entire infantry unit for 5 points more. So, hard not to take this. Also has anti-tank grenades on top of that. So, Fusilier, really good. I generally actually take them these days when I have them in divisions, although as the game has like grown, not a ton of divisions have these anymore. Just most of the older divisions. Then we have the Scharfschütze here in A phase. They come in A or B. We're bringing in A. Arguably, maybe they should be in B, but once you get to B phase, the snipers lose their potency because there's more ouchy weapons out and they die a little faster. At the beginning of the game, they can be a little bit more disruptive. The G43 semi-automatic variant with the double veterancy is quite a good variant of sniper, though. And then in B phase, we have the Fallschirmjäger Panzer Abwehr here. This unit is phenomenal. It's a full 10-man infantry squad with G43s and an LMG, along with, more importantly, the Panzerschreck, which allows us to like not really take a Panzerschreck unit in the AT tab. It lets us just take this and have this full squad here. So really good unit. I mean, arguably one of the better Axis like Recon infantry units. Diving into the infantry tab here. So there's like, I feel like you're generally priced into the good stuff here, at least for me. I mean, arguably maybe I should be taking like another junk card of something, but I have a hard time taking junky infantry. I just don't think they're very good these days. Back in the day, junk infantry were good. Nowadays, not so much. Like if I'm going to bring infantry, I want them to be quality. So we have the Ulig Fallschirmjäger here. Fallschirmjäger. It's a leader. There's actually nothing unique about this at all. It's just a leader. Cool uniforms, I guess. Very colorful. Then we have a Sturm Pioneer card here in A phase. We need some CQC here. Then we have the LL Schützen, a special unit for this division. You get 2 cards of these. I'm bringing one in A and one in C. It is a solid unit. It's 25 points. You get double LMG for 25 points. It's a pretty good rate. MG34 is not like the most powerful weapon in the game, but 2 of them is nice. You get pretty good you get standard availability, I should say. The unit is fully long range. You do not want to be fighting with this unit in the woods. It has no CQC firepower at all with the singular MP40. Definitely not a unit you want there. But yeah, I have these in A and C. A phase vetted one, C phase not vetted. And then our last card in A phase is the Fallschirmjäger FG42. This is like the OG Fallschirmjäger squad. I mean, it's as powerful as it's ever been. At 35 points, it's hard to... I can't see passing up on these. This is the best thing you have going on, really, at the end of the day. I'm looking at the LL Schützen and making sure it's not, like, better than this guy. I mean, technically the loadout's better, but I don't want my leader to be fighting, generally speaking. At 4-man, it dies really easily. I'd prefer it be hidden. So that's why I'm not taking those. These guys, they're also... The Führer League is also 20 points. Truthfully, I would take the Pioneer usually. I'm just taking him for flavor's sake, because... an ace unit, I have a hard time not taking an ace unit just because they're there. The Pure is better, though, because, like, in a clutch situation, the grenade is so much more useful. Actually, if I'm being honest with myself, I really should be taking this. That is the right choice. Then, in B phase, we have the Fallschirm Pioneer here. This unit's okay. I mean, it's a chunky Pioneer squad, so it's definitely better than a normal Pioneer squad. I would absolutely take these. These used to be really strong when they had the FG-42s, because you used to have these. Then they got taken away from them, and now Fulton Pioneers are very mid. But again, it's a fat Pioneer squad. It is better than the 25-point normal Pioneer squad. It's just 2 more men. So there's like no argument to ever not taking these. It's just, you know, they aren't what they used to be. Then we have another card of the Fallschirmjäger FG-42 units. Again, love these. They absolutely eviscerate any unit at 500 meter range. It's absolutely a devastating squad. And then we have the Fallschirmjäger ZF. Love this unit as well. This thing is absolutely dominant at 750 meter range. Double MG42 with a sniper. It's kind of disgusting, quite frankly. Your rifles do go down to the K98s instead of the G43s, but like, whatever. You do lose the AT as well. It is actually the real thing here that matters is that you don't have the Panzerfaust anymore. That can matter in some clutch situations, especially if you're leaning on the Fallschirmjäger ZF. They're also 40 points instead of 35. So are they better than the Fallschirmjäger FG-42? Not technically, especially because of the price difference, but snipers are much stronger. So, you know, you also get the range and everything. So really strong unit. I can't see not taking this at any point. And C-phase with the L Schützen, like I said, and the Pioneer unit. Excuse me. For your CQC in C-phase. I mean, honestly, I feel like the best chance of this deck winning is just grinding your opponent out. Because it's not like a trash division where like it's all garbage infantry. Fallschirmjägers are obviously really high quality infantry. Your LS Schützen here are good 25-point infantry. They're not the best. Technically a Panzergren MG34 I think has 1 more man, if I'm not mistaken, and costs the same. So technically just straight up better than this. Maybe it doesn't, but I want to say it does. So, you know, these aren't like LS Schützen are not incredible units, but it's nice that they're here. The units I'm not taking here are the LS Schützen Panzerfaust, which does get downgraded to a single MG, but it is an MG42. So, I mean, 2 MG34s is still better than 1 MG42. There's really no argument in terms of the straight power. The Panzerfaust is nice. It absolutely is nice. So, you know, the problem is they don't come with any extra availability or anything. They are 5 points less. So, you know, maybe, I don't know. I don't even see where I would put them. Like, I don't know what I would take out for these. B-phase probably could use a cheap card of infantry, but I really don't want to give up these good Fallschirmjägers, so I don't know. I'm not, again, as I explained earlier, junk infantry, not in a great place these days, so I don't, these don't, like, call to me like they're, like, a necessary inclusion. Tank tab. Your options here are extremely limited. You have Stugs, which are phase locked to B and C phase, which really sucks. So obviously we're going to take them in B and C phase because we can. Then we have these junky Panzers. Oh, excuse me. We have the Panzer 35R F, which is god-awful. You should never take this. It's absolute trash on a stick. The gun doesn't even kill, like, half-tracks half the time. This is abominable. The Panzer 39H, okay. It's still bad. Like, let me be very clear. This tank is still terrible. But it can at least take out half-tracks semi-efficiently. The armor on it is, for 15 points, is actually pretty good, all things considered. It doesn't block anything heavy, obviously, but, you know, it does okay. Yeah, this thing also only goes 20 kilometers an hour on a road. Like, these are just god-awfully bad. Even with light armor being really good right now. I would take these, potentially, but there's really no space for them. Taking the Panzer III Leader instead. Panzer III H's are pretty bad, all things considered. 25 points is very cheap for them, though. The unit is a fine support weapon in terms of, like, shooting infantry. It does have the double MG34. Again, nothing impressive here. It's nice that it's the leader for 25 points, so that is very good. Panzer B2, actually do love these things, but you only get 2. They're slow as crap here in A phase, and I much prefer the radio on the Panzer III Leader and getting another Panzer III Leader as well. Support tab. It's a pretty good support tab. Like this, I didn't call it one of the strengths of the deck because it still isn't, but it's not bad either. Like, it's pretty, it's definitely like one of the good tabs, but it's not a super strong strength. Taking the Flammenwerfer, of course, we need CQC. Fulshmear MG42, it's just straight better than the normal MG42 because it has Raider. So why wouldn't you take that instead of the normal MG42? IG-18, solid choice. Commandant for the leadership. We want to get these guys up to that beautiful 3 vet, make them really dangerous. Kubel MG, better than the DMA because it's the same amount of supply, but it's split into multiple units. That way, if something gets counter-batteried or something, you still have more munitions to bring in. The flexibility of being able to put these all over the place is much better. They're also a little bit faster. Not really any reason to ever take the normal supply truck over the smaller one if all the supply is equal at the end of the day. And then, one of the only reasons I'm really saying this support tab is good, you get the LG42, which is a very solid infantry gun at 2K, gives you that 2K HE reach, has a pretty good heat shell, although the accuracy, of course, is quite bad, but for heat shell, actually, it's not terrible, 1500 meter range. Yeah, I'm bringing these in B phase. I want to have as many as possible to actually be able to make use of these for as long as the game can go. Anti-tank tab. This is a very strange AT tab. You get 1 card of pack 40s, which are... Oh, I thought they were phase locked to B phase. They're not. I thought they were phase locked. Oh, well, whatever. And then you get 2 cards of pack 43s, which in 9 out of 10 situations are way overkill. Like, so overkill in most situations. So it's like really hard to call these, and they die to everything, I swear to God. An artillery piece even like glances this way, and this thing just melts and dies. I'm not sure why, it just feels that way. They feel so much more vulnerable than most of their AT guns. It's rough. But I'm bringing in A phase to fill in my A phase AT slot. I'd prefer to have the more pack 40s for long game. Gerlich is a good AT gun, but it requires 3 hits to kill something, which does really suck. Fires pretty fast, has really high accuracy, and obviously great penetration. And the exceptional stealth is really what matters here. But you do have to remember it takes 3 pens to kill something, which can be quite a pain in the butt. Not taking any Panzerschrecks because we have the Abwehrs over here in the Recon tab. C phase, we have another card of pack 43s because you get no more pack 40s. So that's why, again, they're B phase. Again, this is a ballsy build of this thing. My assumption is A phase is going to be a freaking crap show anyway. So might as well just backload everything anyways and try to make the long game not suck. That's my argument for it. I understand that the pack 40 probably should be an A phase. But if you put it there, then you have literally no more medium AT for the rest of the game, and that really sucks. AA tab. Looks like it should be good. It's also very mid. Like, this is very mid. I'm forced to use the 20 mil. Y'all know how I feel about 20 mils. I would be okay with this if it came with, like, a 20 mil truck. It doesn't. So, it's just a trash piece of 20 mils. It's ouch. It's ouch that I'm using this. Maybe this is better. Nope. Lower availability. Unacceptable. So, yeah. The only way these are good is in large numbers, and we can only really get 4. Going down to no vet really makes these suck. You need them at 1 vet, so maybe a commander can get them at the 3, and then they're like at least semi sort of kind of okay at killing stuff. Very okay-ish. Then we have the Flak 36 in B phase. It is phase locked to B phase, so that sucks. A phase, your only A are these freaking 20 mils. Like, oh my god, make this any harder. Flak 36s are fine. Again, a very mid piece of AA. Don't expect any miracles out of it, but it does get the job done. And then you have Flak 88s, but they're the reboard variants. It's the Russian 85 mil reboard for an 88 shell. So it actually has lower penetration than your normal Flak 88. It's a little cheaper, which is nice. They're phase locked once again to be, because this isn't hard enough. This kind of ends up almost being your AT a little bit. I don't know. This division just struggles so hard. It doesn't look like it should on paper, but when you really dive into it, you notice all the glaring weaknesses, this being another example where it's like, this AA tab doesn't look terrible when you first glance at it. Then you really look at it and you're like, actually, this will struggle against any division that actually really leans into the Air Force. Like, it really will, especially A phase. Like, my god, you'll just get bullied to death in A phase. And that's the real problem with this deck, is like, A phase is so bad. It's really hard to even get to the grindy part of the game. Arty tab, like I said, this is a strength of the deck. You have a ton of stuff here. What we are taking, 81 mil mortar, even with the nerf to their range, these are still quite good. and kind of function like a better 50 mil mortar in 60 mil mortar in terms of deadliness. Obviously much slower firing, but still a good option. We have the battery fear for leaders because I have a hard time not taking battery fears. It's like an OCD thing at this point. 122 mil Russian gun. This gun is one of the better Russian artillery pieces. It fills a nice gap in this deck for some medium arty that it actually doesn't have much of. Like, this is really your only medium arty piece. Then you get 2 cards in Nebel for 300 mil if you want them. We're only taking 1 here in C phase. That should be plenty. And then we have the 152, another Russian arty gun. This one's actually not terrible. It's at 4 rounds a minute for a gun of this caliber. That's technically on the high side of speed. So not a bad arty piece, coming in with the multi-munitions on all 3 of these units. So that's nice. Things we're not taking, normal 81 mil mortar. I mean, I guess you could, but I like the radio. The Geb 105, these are pretty terrible. Usually only take these in airborne divisions when you have to. Not taking the 120 for obvious... Although we could take this one. I didn't see the 120 here. Availability is absolute trash on a stick. No. You get 4 of these, only 2 of the 120s. I mean, this unit is very good, though. I'm not going to take that away. I'm struggling with the fact that this is easy to kill, and once they're gone, they're like long gone. These, you get a couple more of them at least. Then we're not taking the Werfraum in here. I had it in, but it's kind of redundant. It only fires 4 rockets, so it's not actually killing a lot very often. It's got the super short range, so it's going to be up at the line in a very dangerous position most of the time. Only has the 4 rockets, so you got to reload it every time, which is rough. It's locked to B phase, although why would I ever bring in an A phase most likely? And yeah, I just don't see... I would bring in another card of Nebelwerfer for 300s in B phase instead of this thing. Because again, this doesn't come with any ammo either, so like, you're just really screwed with this unit. It just doesn't do it. It really just doesn't do it. Anything else we're not taking? Oh, off-map. For the same reasons I explain in every video with off-map, I'm just not an off-map fan. I don't think it's good these days. Like, I really actually think off-map is generally bad in terms of your cost to benefit. If you're a high-level player who knows how to really follow up an off-map well, then maybe this is a good choice. But the problem with this deck is you don't even have anything to follow up the off-map with. There's no half-tracks or anything. Your best bet is to try to drive an infantry unit through and hope it doesn't get shot in the way. Doesn't work out nearly as much as you think. I just don't think you need the off-map. That's just me, though. Air tab. Not great either, quite frankly. You are forced into really bad fighters in A phase. So you basically have the choice between the Focke-Wulf 190 G3R1 and the BF-109 G6. Y'all know that I think BF-109's the G6 variants, G4, G2, not the R variants. These are bad. Like, there's really no argument here that these BF-109s are not very good. They do not have the firepower to shoot down planes. It really sucks. They have bad resilience. Their speed is acceptable. They're pretty maneuverable. The problem is your only alternative is this Focke-Wulf 190, and it's one of the worst variants of the Focke-Wulf 190 in the game. It has bad resilience. It only has 540 kilometers an hour. It's got the twin 20 mil gun pods, which end up somehow being worse than just 4 20 mils. It's like a weird... I don't really know how the math works out, but this unit somehow ends up worse than just having 4 straight 20 mils, even though this is technically better statistically than 4 straight 20 mils. I don't really understand how it turns out that way, but it does. I don't get it. So you're basically kind of... I mean, to actually catch a plane, you need the BF-109 G6. The Focke-Wulf is just too freaking slow, and the bad resilience on this thing, too, just means it dies trying to chase down its target. It's really rough. So you're forced into these BF-109 G6s. It's really your only good anti-air... Good. I'm using air quotes here. Good anti-air in A phase. Of course, 20 mils is all you got on the ground. It's terrible. You also get Focke-Wulf 190 G3R5s, which are good bomb loadouts, bad resilience bombers. I mean, that sucks, too. They don't have the medium resilience, which means they die really easily, which really sucks. And then finally, B phase here, we're bringing the Ju-88. This is actually a good plane. It's very fast for a bomber. It's got medium resilience. Yes, obviously very good would be nice, but that would be way busted. This is a good bomber. This is the only good part of the air tab. The FI-156 is nice. I just can't find any room for it. The Ju-188 with the 10, 50 kilograms, this is terrible. I wouldn't use this. 50 kilogram bombs are still bad on planes that aren't ground, like dive bombers. On heavy bombers, they're really quite bad. BF-109 with the rockets, fine. It's fine. I could be argued into, you know, just taking the rocket variant instead, but you need fighters so bad. I expect these to die, so I have a hard time spending 15 extra points on a plane. I know I'm probably just going to suicide at some point, desperately trying to kill some other plane. Talking about the Focke-Wulf. The Focke-Wulf 190 G3 has a really nice bomb loadout, but once again, bad resilience. Not that fast. I find... I mean, actually, when I look at it here, I don't see any reason not to just take the better bomb loadout. You're paying 5 points more. You're losing 30 kilometers an hour, but that's really the only negative, so can't really see a reason not to just take the better bomber. Remember, you can turn one set of bombs off when you fly in if you know the enemy has no AA. Then you can take 2 bombing strikes. That is really effective. It can really kind of swing a situation for you. They are slick-looking planes, though. Unfortunately, they're absolute garbage. Love that camo pattern. Yeah, 91st Luftlande, a division I want to love, but is honestly quite bad. A-Phase is an absolute travesty in this deck. It's like a pure struggle. And if you warp the deck to survive A-Phase, then you don't have enough to survive, like to really grind out the later part of the game, which is the only way this division really wins, because you have nothing fast to push in A-Phase. You cannot play this division like in a more aggressive income type. Like, you really just can't. It's really hard to. Because again, your good stuff doesn't come till later, so you need the income later. Half the time you don't survive till later because A-Phase is just that gosh darn awful. And yeah, so unfortunately, not a very good division. Fun on paper, really rough in practice. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, check out the YouTube membership. Really, thanks a lot, everyone, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.